Norway votes, and the centre-left survives. Prime Minister Jonas Gahr secures a second term, but only just. His fragile coalition, branded the Tutti Frutti alliance, faces rising populist pressure as Sylvi Listhaug's Progress Party surges to record gains. Energy, war, and Europe's shifting politics now define the battlefield. Can social democracy still hold its ground as the right wing closes in? Norway's political map has shifted, but the centre-left has managed to hold on yet once again. On September 8th, Prime Minister Jonas Gahr Store's Labour Party secured a second term after a fiercely contested election dominated by rising living costs and the wars in Ukraine and Gaza. According to a report by Reuters, Labour and its left-leaning allies won 87 seats in the 1 to 69-member parliament, just above the threshold for a majority, while the populist right achieved its best ever election result. After his sweeping victory, addressing the crowd, Prime Minister Gahr Støre thanked his supporters, saying,
"Dear all, we had a goal in this election, and that was re-election and a continued Labour government. We're going to lead the country's finances safely and responsibly, so that people's everyday finances are safe and they can afford more."
But the path forward is far from smooth. Governing will require balancing the demands of a patchwork coalition, dubbed by local media the Tutti Frutti coalition, spanning 5 parties from the agrarian centre party to the far-left Reds. Analysts say Store's survival owes much to coalition arithmetic, not electoral strength. Jonas Stein, a political science professor at the University of Tromsø, said,
Støre will continue as Prime Minister, but with a much more difficult parliamentary situation, in which he is dependent on 5 parties to govern.
At the same time, the election exposed a sharp rightward turn among parts of the electorate. The right-wing populist Progress Party, led by Sylvi Listhaug, surged to its best result in a national election, winning 48 seats, more than doubling its tally vote to around 24% from 2021 and relegating the Conservatives to being only the 3rd largest force in Parliament. Listhaug, who cites Ronald Reagan and Margaret Thatcher as her inspirations, campaigned against what she called wasteful spending on foreign aid and green subsidies. Analysts say her message resonated with younger male voters. Eirik Loka, a fellow at the Oslo-based Civitas think tank, said,
"Young people today are much more right-wing than earlier. I think the Progress Party has won a huge part of the youth vote, especially among young men."
Despite the populist surge, Støre struck an optimistic tone on September 9th, declaring that his victory was proof social democracy still had traction.
It's a good result, it's a clear result. It demonstrates that centre-left social democracy can win elections, even when there are winds blowing from the right. It's been a tough campaign, but a fair campaign, good debates. So we will build on, the Norwegian model, which is based on opportunities for all, fair distribution, and a modern approach to how we develop our knowledge base, how we cut emissions, how we live up to our international obligations.
Energy remains Norway's defining policy fault line. Labour insists oil and gas exploration will continue, even as coalition partners push for phase-outs.
We believe we should explore and develop the Norwegian continental shelf, and we should use the term develop, not decommission. That means we should continue to do it in a way that cuts emissions and develops new technologies.
Norway, which supplies 35% of Europe's gas, will also maintain its role as a critical energy partner, the Prime Minister pledged.
And Norway is also a leading energy nation, important for Europe, providing about 35% of Europe's gas. We will continue to be a reliable partner, but also to take forward technological shifts, cut emissions, and live up to our climate obligation.
According to the International Monetary Fund, Norway is one of the richest countries in the world. It has a generous welfare state, sits on billions of barrels of oil and gas, and has one of the world's largest sovereign wealth funds worth around $2 trillion. Gross domestic product per person is the 6th highest in the world, one place above the US. It is also one of the world's most egalitarian countries, sharing its wealth much more evenly than many others. Now, as the coalition prepares for tough negotiations, Støre's balancing act is clear. Keep Norway's economy stable, deliver on climate promises, and preserve his fragile majority while the populist right continues to gain ground. Meanwhile, Finance Minister Jens Stoltenberg said there was a lesson to be learned in the result for social democratic parties in Europe.
Well, it's always great to win elections. I have had the privilege of winning elections before, but also losing them, and it's always better to win than lose. And it's great to be part of the team of Prime Minister Jonas Støre, and to see how Social Democratic Party in Europe can win. Also when we face a surge in the support for the populist right. And I think if there is any lesson to be learned for the rest of Europe is that it is possible to win in a campaign where you have a strong populist right that is actually gaining support on the expenses of the traditional Conservative Party, but the Social Democratic Party and the centre-left actually won this election with a clear margin.
Foreign Minister Espen Barth Eide said the foreign policy priorities would remain the same, as did Defence Minister Tor Sandvik.
When it comes to priorities, of course, as Foreign Minister, I will continue what we're doing in a strong support for Ukraine, a strong position on Israel-Palestine, trying to stop the war, get humanitarian aid in, but also continue to work for a political solution, and to have a consistent policy of international law and full adherence to international law, which I think has been helpful in winning this election, because this is something people care about.
It's the follow-up. For me in the defense sector, the unanimous long-term defense plan. We'll keep on with that, and also to keep control of the economy, as we told in the election campaign.
Monday's result was never expected to have major implications for Norway's foreign policy. The country is a stalwart member of NATO and a strong supporter of Ukraine's defence against Russia, with which it has a border in the Arctic North. It isn't a member of the European Union, but has close economic ties with the 27-nation bloc.